Hello, welcome to Today in History for the 10th of September. As usual, let us roll back the blind to the year 1608. His name is John Smith. Who was John Smith? He was chosen president of Jamestown on this day. Having survived capture by Indians, reputedly through the efforts of Pocahontas, a chief's daughter, John Smith became president of Jamestown Colony, the first permanent English settlement in North America. That happened on this day in 1608. So the first English settlement called Jamestown Colony, was settled for the first time on this day, September 10th, 1608. So, President of Jamestown, pictured here, John Smith. We move on to the year 1846, Elias Howe, or Elias Howe, not sure how his last name is pronounced. Howe or Howe is spelled H-O-W-E. So 1846, I'm sure you can see there's a clue there. He is the inventor of the sewing machine. So he was granted a patent on this day in 1846. The sewing machine revolutionized the garment manufacture industry. So this is Elias Howe, who was given a patent for his sewing machine on this day in 1846. Let's move on to the year 1929. His name is Arnold Palmer. He's an American golfer. He was born on this day in 1929. He is generally regarded as one of the greatest and most charismatic players in the sport's history. Dating back to 1955, he won numerous events on both the PGA Tour and the circuit, now known as PGA Tour Champions. So that is Arnold Palmer, born on this day in 1929. So happy birthday, Arnold Palmer. 1934, his name is Roger Maris. Born on this day, he was an American professional baseball player and held the record for most home runs between 1961 and 1998. So the record for most home runs was 61 in a single season. So born on this day in 1934. So happy posthumous birthday, Roger Maris. 1949, Bill O'Reilly was born. This is Bill O'Reilly, pictured here. He is an American television and radio personality. He's now retired. O'Reilly joined the Fox News channel in 1996 and hosted the O'Reilly Factor. I remember that until 2017. The O'Reilly Factor was the highest rated cable news show for 16 years, and he was described by media analyst Howard Kurtz as the biggest star in the 20-year history at Fox News at the time of his ouster, so at the time he left. He is also an author of numerous books. So this is Bill O'Reilly, who was born on this day in 1949. So happy birthday, Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Sounds like his ancestors would have come from Ireland. The O'Reilly Factor. O'Reilly, yeah, that's a typical Irish name. Okay, Jack Ma, 1964, born on this day. Most of you would know him. Billionaire Jack Ma, Chinese entrepreneur. His other name is Ma Yun. He's a Chinese business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. He is the co-founder and former executive chairman of the Alibaba Group, a multinational technology conglomerate. Ma is a strong proponent of an open and market-driven economy. So that's Jack Ma for you, billionaire Jack Ma, former founder of Alibaba, the Alibaba Group, former executive chairman, co-founder, I should add as well, born on this day in 1964. So happy birthday, Jack Ma. Jack Ma would be 56 today. Yeah, 56 today. So happy birthday, Jack Ma. 1974 on this day, this country called Guinea-Bissau in West Africa gained its independence from Portugal after an 11.5-year-long war of independence. So in January 1998, 10 fighters from the Movement of Democratic Forces of Casamance, MDFC, an insurgent separatist group from the Senegalese region of Casamance, were killed and another 40 were arrested following clashes with the armed forces in 2 towns on the northern border of Guinea-Bissau. So, separatist people, obviously, they probably wanted to carve out another country from the current Guinea-Bissau, but that rebellion was stopped. Okay. 1988. On this day, Steffi Graff, by winning the US Open, completed the Grand Slam of tennis. She was the first woman to accomplish the feat since Margaret Court in 1970. Stephanie Maria Graff is a German former professional tennis player. So that's her full name, Stephanie Maria Graff. She was ranked world number 1 for a record 377 weeks. Wow. So 377 weeks would be over 6 years. Yeah, 7 years perhaps, 7 times 5 years. Over 7 years, about 7.5 years. Wow. And won 22 Grand Slam singles titles, which ranks second since the introduction of the Open era in 1968, and third all-time behind Margaret Court, 24, and Serena Williams, 23. Interesting. Okay. So let's move on to the year 2008. So this is the last newsworthy item of this day, last but not least. I guess putting it mildly. The Large Hadron Collider, the world's most powerful particle accelerator, conducted its first test operation on this day, 2008. Now remember all the fears that surrounded this test, and how the world was going to come to an end, and how it was going to affect the Earth's orbit and rotation and revolution around the sun. All conspiracy theories have been thrown about left, right, and center. We're still here today. Nothing has happened. It's nothing significant. So anyway, I'm going to read a little bit more about this. The Large Hadron Collider. It is the world's largest and highest energy particle collider and the largest machine in the world. It was built by the European Organization for Nuclear Research between 1998 and 2008 in collaboration with over 10,000 scientists and hundreds of universities and laboratories, as well as more than 100 countries. So this was a really massive collaboration, which led to the test on this day, the first test on this day in 2008, first test operation. So, don't know what you guys think about this particle collider. It is something to do with finding the beginnings of the universe or something. I'm not quite sure now. But yeah, there was something along those lines. So, obviously, me not being a physicist, my understanding of the reason for this Large Hadron Particle Collider is very limited. But I'm going to read a little bit about its purpose. This is courtesy Wikipedia. The purpose of the Large Hadron Collider is to increase our knowledge about the universe. While the discoveries scientists will make could lead to practical applications down the road, That's not the reason hundreds of scientists and engineers built the Large Hadron Collider, or the LHC. It's a machine built to further our understanding. Okay? Many physicists hope that the Large Hadron Collider will help answer some of the fundamental open questions in physics, which concern the basic laws governing the interactions and forces among the elementary objects, the deep structure of space and time, and in particular, the interaction between quantum mechanics and general relativity. Data are also needed from high-energy particle experiments to suggest which versions of current scientific models are more likely to be correct. In particular, to choose between the standard model and the Higgs-less model, and to validate their predictions and allow further theoretical development. Issues explored by LHC collisions include, so LHC stands for Large Hadron Collider. So the issues explored include, is a mass of elementary particles being generated by the Higgs mechanism via electroweak symmetry breaking. It was expected that the collider experiments will either demonstrate or rule out the existence of the elusive Higgs boson, thereby allowing physicists to consider whether the standard model or its Higgs-less alternatives are more likely to be correct. Is supersymmetry an extension of the standard model and Poincare symmetry realized in nature, implying that all known particles have supersymmetric partners? Okay, interesting. Symmetry, at least that's a word I understand. Are there extra dimensions as predicted by various models based on string theory, and can we detect them? Are there extra dimensions? Yes, I've heard about this as well. Apart from how many dimensions do we have? 3 dimensions? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a physicist. I'm not an expert in these things. But yeah, so a lot of questions that scientists want answered. Hopefully some of those questions have been answered since the test. My guess is most of the questions still remain unanswered. But, the scientists are pushing forward. They're evolving, they're developing, they're getting better. They're carrying out experiments. They're finding out what works and what doesn't work. That's life. You got to push if you want to find questions to your answers. The things that you need to do to get those questions answered. And I guess, but those of us who do not know, who know next to nothing about this, would think, oh, it's a waste of money and all the hula baloo. But it's part of the scientific endeavor to push forward to try and find answers to questions. Okay, so on that interesting note, that intriguing note, I'll end Today in History for the 10th of September. My name again is Sotonye Afiesimama. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. That would help with the algorithm and help spread the word. Also, share this video to your family and friends. Consider subscribing as well. You can do that by clicking the notification bell. That would enable YouTube send you a notification whenever I upload and publish a video. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow, September 11th, for another edition of Today in History. Stay safe. Bye-bye.